That's what I'm saying. Everybody want to share it. Yeah, or you might like cooking. Whatever kind of partner it is that day, that's your thing. You know what I mean? It could be a big slip. But
tread lightly.
Here's my point. Seriously, here's my point. What I'm saying is that I think we have to move beyond, and this is probably where we disagree, I think we have to move beyond the model where women purely see themselves as objects of men's desire and choice. Women have sexual desire as well. Women want to make choices as well, and it might so happen that you want to have sex, that you may want to partner. I think you should make healthy decisions. You should make smart decisions. You should know who you're dealing with. You should make sure that they're tested. You should make sure that whatever you all agree on, that's what you're doing. But I don't think I don't want I have an 8-year-old daughter. I don't want her to think that the stakes are so high when she decides to have sex for the first time, hopefully at 30. But when she makes the decision to have sex for the first time, I don't want her to feel like it's such a high-stakes decision that her whole life hinges on whether or not this becomes her partner. I also don't want to assume that marriage is always the goal of women or men. I think you can have healthy, functional relationships and just decide that maybe you don't want to be married. Maybe you don't want to be together forever. I think that's your choice. And I don't think that, again, your life success should hinge upon being married. I feel like for men, we have the luxury of having careers and being successful and being bachelors until you're 50 and nobody says a word. But if a woman decides to have success, and maybe just straight up on some Oprah stuff, just don't want a husband, we act as if something's wrong with her, as if she's broken. And I think that that's a very, very dangerous kind of path to take, because I think we need to reimagine relationships, health, and sex in ways that make sense. But again, be responsible, be healthy, and make good choices.
But my only comment to that is this. Everybody that I've spoken to, the majority, I'd say about 85 to 90% of them, they say that they don't want to get married. I want to go to the root. Why don't you? And it's not because they just want to be single. Because what they do is they have, can I say, a bootleg marriage? So in other words, they're with someone, they're doing all the things like a married couple without the term. And it's because it stems from a fear or an inability to believe that they can create a happy and a healthy one. If that is the issue, I say let's take the medicine and get the cure done, versus thinking that you just have to get rid of the institution. Because if you are still trying to emulate one, then it means that you must enjoy one. So, I mean, I want to keep that where I believe it needs to be. We need to begin to do the self-evaluation of ourselves. And here's the other thing. I don't disagree that women might want to have sex. But you need to understand, you can't kid yourself and say, oh, I'm going to get mine too. No, if your heart is broken the day after, and you thought it was going to get you something more, you need to know that going in. Don't play games with yourself. Listen, it's one thing to lie to me or to your friend, but don't lie to yourself.
I agree. And real quick, I think we have to send that message. I got to say this. This is so important. I agree with that. And I think we have to get to the core of relationships. Some people don't want to get relationships because of fear, because of anxiety, because of trauma. We have to get at the root of whatever our issues. I would make the same argument with your point about marriage, though, that oftentimes many of the social ills we see attached to marriage aren't about being married, they're about being poor, right? I mean, single parents, rich people are single and do just fine. Their kids go to college, they don't go to jail, they don't commit suicide. It's poverty oftentimes that's a proxy for marriage. But I think the same message we're sending out about being broken, about protecting our bodies, my concern more is that we only address that to women. Brothers, we have to have that same message to everybody. Men go into these relationships broken too. Men go into these situations broken too. We're taught as men from a very early age that the only way to even perform masculinity is through having a whole bunch of sex, is by having a whole bunch of women. And then we normalize it through society by saying that's just how men are. You know how men are, that's just what men do, that's how men act. And I think that if we want to send that message, it should be about women protecting their bodies from these men who have the right to sow their oats however they want. I think we need to send a healthy message to everybody to respect their bodies, to protect their bodies, to make good, healthy choices. And that the mark of our identity as women or as men doesn't hinge upon who we have sex with, how often we have sex with, what gender or sex we have sex with. I think you can be a full man and do any of those things and be okay. I think that's so important for us to send to these kids, because I go around the country, I talk to these kids, and so many of them have this idea that they don't become real men until they have 10 and 20. I went through the same thing. I mean, I understand it. You know what I mean? Until we have all these women, or until we have all these partners, or until we at least pretend that we do. And the way we talk about sex, the way we talk about relationships has to be different. If you talk to a group of dudes, you know what I mean, about sex, how do they say? Yo, dog, you hit that? Yo, I hit that. I tapped that. I pounded that. I beat that up. Every image, every metaphor we have for sex is one of violence. I mean, think about it. I ain't trying to foreclose when you get around the possibilities. You know, some nights it might be like that. so I think we need to reimagine who we are and link that to our identities. That's all I'm saying.
My train of thought has been disrupted. Go ahead.
I was going to answer your question about if you rewound to where they are right now. And I totally agree with some of the stuff they're saying. I think marriage is really the foundation, has been the foundation, and should be the foundation of our culture moving forward. But that being said, where you are right now,